Well, things could get pretty spicy. Apparently, the one person anywhere in jail over the case that apparently never happened, according to everyone, the person who is in jail has now said they are willing to testify in front of Congress and name names. Now, I'm curious what names could have been named 10 years ago when they went into prison. There's a whole lot of this that is very, very weird to me. The one thing I can say is I'm not going to stop demanding whatever information our government has around this. I don't care. I've got mad love for Trump, but the way he's handling this is about as bad as it could be. The way Pam Bondi's handled this is about as bad as it could be. And it actually appears that some marching orders have been sent to tell people, hey, stop talking about it. The people that I'm talking to, I don't want to necessarily out them, but they have been told that you're done talking about this. We know from Trump's own events, he said, we don't want to talk about this anymore. Well, I'm not going to stop talking about it as long as these videos still get one view. Make sure you leave a like on them and you leave a comment. That helps these videos immensely. Here's what, Luke Rudowski shared a clip, and this is what it said.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
Now, this was a 14-second clip, and so I think it's important to point out there is a longer clip in which he has reacted to. But here's the thing what's interesting about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk held this TP event, which is an event for a bunch of young single conservatives to get together and party, essentially. A lot of good has come out of those events. A lot of partying happens at those events. I've attended them. I'm probably too old to continue to attend them. But I do think in general they are a good thing. But Charlie Kirk has been getting all sorts of backlash because Tucker Carlson went on to say, so this is Amachai Chiklai, I don't really know. All I know is they are the minister of dysphoria at Israel, combating anti-Semitism, married to Hadass and none of that matters. This person works for Israel and the Israeli government. And they admonished Charlie Kirk, saying, Charlie Kirk, like many others, have been following your remarkable journey from afar. Your pursuit of truth, integrity, and love for your country. Very few people are as gifted as you. This is what you call a compliment sandwich. I watched Tucker Carlson's speech at your conference and your debate with Megyn Kelly, and I must admit I was filled with sorrow. I don't know whether or not Jeffrey was an intelligence asset for any agency. I would certainly like to know. In particular, I would like to understand his connection to the kind of people who sought to sell out land of Israel to the Palestinians. People like the former Israeli prime minister, who both appear in previously published related documents. Still, as you have noted, there is no evidence, none, that Jeffrey was acting on behalf of the state of Israel. Yet, the message conveyed at your conference with Tucker Carlson as keynote speaker, just days after a sycophantic interview with Iran, was unmistakable. Israel was behind Jeffrey. The audience applauded. Everyone seemed pleased, especially the Qataris and their jihadist terror channel. We see Candace Owens publicly claim that the Israelis knew in advance about terrible things that happened. Look, here's the thing. You say there's nothing wrong with demanding complete transparency about Jeffrey, but there is something profoundly wrong with elevating, basically saying, stop saying that, we had anything to do with it. I don't know. Here's what I'll say. I do stop short, and I talked about this on the live stream. Everyone called me Jeremy Hamlinstein or something, but I stopped short of, I have tongue-in-cheek stated things as fact, but we know our government has said that he is an intelligence asset. This was said about him. Do I think he was an intelligence asset for the United States government? Yes. Do I think he was an intelligence asset to other governments around the United States? Yes, I do. Or outside of the United States? Yes, I do. Does that mean it was Israel for a fact? No. But certainly the amount of people that if what we know is to be true, what is true about this dude, he had compromised everybody. So, quite frankly, could Israel be involved? Well, I don't know. They aren't. Could MI6 be involved? Could other intelligence agencies be involved? Of course. Almost certainly. They could be. But that's why it's so important. All of this, Israel's involved, they're not involved. It could just go away tomorrow. It could go away in an hour if they just released everything they had. Charlie Kirk responds, "This is such a lame non-controversy. Yes, I spent the weekend talking about Jeffrey, as in many of our speakers at SAS. Nothing was off limits. I discussed how the communication and transparency could have been improved, how the base wasn't just going to move on, and I provided ways forward. Now I'm giving them space to operate. The ball is in their court, and I'm trusting those in charge, many of whom I know personally and consider friends, to find a solution, which I'm confident is in the works. I will be more than happy to talk about Jeffrey again once the updates come." So, okay. So either he got the call, as they say, or he didn't. He also said, this video cut short the actual commentary. Plenty's been said, the ball's in their hands. That's within the video. He goes on to say, "But let me again say, everyone knows in my opinion about the Jeffrey thing, the messaging fumble. I would love to see the DOJ move to unseal the grand jury testimony. I think that would be a big win. I would love to see that. And I'm going to trust my friends, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and my friend, Pam Bondi, all of these guys. I'm going to trust them to solve it. Balls in their court." So basically he said, hey, I'm friends with all these people, so I don't want to, issue any more critiques against them. Of course, he's getting absolutely crushed. We gave them time to operate. They decided to roll out phase 1 with blank folders. We need to talk about it more, not less. You sold out. I don't think he's sold out. I think that he has a lot of high-ranking friends, and he's in a really weird spot. I don't know. But what's interesting, the Biden DOJ is to blame for this, not Trump. Well, yeah, but then he should just release everything, right? He should just release everything that he has. And then we get to this spicy matzo ball. Elon, he said Jeffrey half a dozen times while telling everyone to stop talking about it, just release the files as promised. Obviously, I just agree with that. I just have to agree with that. Or fire Pam Bondi, and Pam Bondi admits she lied and they actually have nothing. I say, and I will continue to say, leave a like if you agree. Pam Bondi either lied when she said she had a quote unquote truckload of evidence. She either lied then, or she's lying now when she says, well, there is no evidence. Well, Ghislaine, Jeffrey's madam, apparently has now said she's willing to disclose the list. Ghislaine, who has of course been convicted, has expressed her willingness to disclose information about Jeffrey and the client list as the Trump administration has closed the case. Now, Ghislaine got 20 years. Okay, so she's probably going to be a free woman in 10 more years. I don't know exactly when she went in, but she'll probably be, in her 70s when she gets out. She could live 25 more years as a free woman. I can't imagine a scenario where I would ever want to testify if I were her. I'm just saying, she's already done 10 years of her 20-year sentence. She almost certainly will get released early. I'm sure she's a well-behaved prisoner. Why would you go now and offer to testify before Congress? It doesn't make sense. Social media has, of course, voiced concern about her safety, drawing parallels to Jeffrey's own unhumaning and Virginia Giuffre passing away. Yeah. After 63-year-old Ghislaine expressed her willingness to speak out about Jeffrey's secrets, his client list, as being the only living person of importance associated with the case, social media users predicted now might be her turn to disappear. Maxwell has been in prison serving 20 years sentence on being a horrible person. She did lots of horrible things. This is undeniable. Now, as the government has closed the investigation, Daily Mail report said Ghislaine will be happy to sit before Congress and tell her story. The report said that Maxwell had never asked to testify before Congress, though she is the only key person associated with the major scandal and was convicted in 2022, 3 years after Jeffrey checked out. So if she was convicted in 2022, she's been in a lot less than I thought. So she's only been in prison for 3 years. She got 17 years left. She could be closer to 8. I guess she'd be closer to 80, but she could. She could live out her 80s. A free woman if she just served her time. Here's the thing. Jeffrey's ghost, however, did not leave the U.S. government, as the Donald Trump administration has come under fire for abruptly closing the case, announcing that there was no foul play in his passing. The DOJ and FBI also closed any avenue of further leak of any name in the case. They said Jeffrey did not have a client list. Jeffrey thus remains as convicted offender, of all the things that they convicted him of. Now, this says Jeffrey's accomplice, Ghislaine, is ready to reveal the truth of the client list, say insiders. Why are Republicans blocking her? Well, I don't know why Republicans would block her, but I will say they should let her speak. Now, do I think we're going to get, this former president, that CEO, this CEO? No, I actually don't. I think she's going to say what she's trying to do is angle for a lighter sentence. So I think, this is my prediction. You let me know what you predict in there. I'm holding on hope. I'm holding on a 1% hope. But what I predict is if she's allowed to testify before Congress, this is what she's going to say. She's going to say that Jeffrey was the only client, and Donald Trump, by the way, was never any part of it. Jeffrey's own lawyer said that. But she's going to come out and say, Trump had nothing to do with it, and Jeffrey's the only client. That's what she's going to do. And she's trying to get pardoned or get her sentence commuted, which if Trump did that, that would be worse than what he's already doing. I don't know. If she's willing to come out and testify, then I think we should let her testify. Do I think we're going to get the information that we want? I don't know, but you don't know unless you try. So I guess let her out there, let the chips fall where they may. I have completely, I do not care who's implicated in this. I care about the victims. So let her testify. Let's hear what she has to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.